students, how are you? I am Metin Murk. This is a revision program Geography for grade 9. For this revision program, I try to select the most important topics of the lesson, and I hope it helps you as a supplementary. In the previous lesson, I think you have learned about the concepts of geography. Today, our lesson starts from Unit 2, which deals the natural environments of the world and Ethiopia. This unit organized into different subtopics, such as forces that change the surface of the earth, weather and climate, natural regions of the earth, and so on. Today, our lesson focuses on forces that change the surface of the earth, especially on the internal forces of folding and faulting. And at the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the landforms formed by folding and faulting. You also able to explain or state the types of fold mountains in addition with their examples. As I told you earlier, we will focus on forces that change the surface of the earth, especially the internal forces. Basically, there are two forces which change the surface of the earth, internal force and external force. Today, we are going to discuss in detail on the internal forces. Internal forces are forces which change the surface of the earth, and these forces come or derive from the interior parts of the earth. These forces form ups and downs on the crust of the earth by bending or folding, by breaking or cracking. Forces inside the crust of the earth causes bending or folding, cracking or faulting. In addition to volcanism and earthquakes, these are the major forces of the interior parts of the earth which change the surface of the earth. Folding is one of the internal forces which is formed by the two different forces coming from the different direction. Due to these forces, the rock layer became bent or fold. Look at this picture which tries to show how the folding process takes place. The force from the different direction, one from the right, the other from the left, moving towards each other, moving to the center and bend the rock layer just like this. When it comes to types of folding, there are different types of folding based on the force applied to the bedrock. For instance, if the folding is moving upwards and convex, we call it anticline. If the folding is moving downwards, we call it syncline. If you can see this picture, try to show the different types of folding, like the anticline or convex, the force moving or pushing upwards and forms this kinds of shape like anticline. The force is pushing upwards, and on the other hand, the force pushing downwards and forms this curved line, what you call it, syncline. When it comes to fold mountains are the effect of these internal forces. Especially, the fold mountains are created or formed by the crust which has been folded and uplifted by compressional forces. The compressional forces are forces created when the two plates moving towards each other, moving to the center and push the sedimentary rocks, and the rocks uplifted into the surface formed the fold mountains. Here the picture shows that how the fold mountains are created. The two plates of land move towards each other, moving to the center, and the compressional forces push the sedimentary rock inside the crust of the earth. In addition to the magma, the hot molten substance, this is to show or to indicate the hot molten substance, what you call magma, together with the sedimentary pushed by the compressional force and uplifted, folded here, form the fold mountains. Fold mountains are usually formed from the sedimentary rocks, and most of the time they are found at the edge of the continent. Students, I think you have learned about the different types of rock type. Igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rocks are the major rock type. So from these three types of rock, fold mountains are formed from the rock type called sedimentary rock. Fold mountains, based on their age, there are two different types of fold mountain: young fold mountain and old fold mountains. The young fold mountains, the age range between 10 to 25 million years, like Atlas in Africa, especially, which is found in Morocco, Rockies in North America, and Himalayas in Asia are examples of young fold mountains. The old fold mountains, the age over 200 million years, like Cape Range, the Urals in Russia, and the Appalachia in USA are some examples of the old fold mountains. This is the map, the major fold mountains location, like the Appalachia in USA, the Atlas in Africa, especially in Morocco, the Urals in Russia, and the Himalayas in Asia, some of the major fold mountains found in the world. Faulting is another internal force which changes the surface of the earth. This faulting is created when there is a movement inside the crust of the earth. During this, there is a crack. This crack, what you call it, faulting. Faulting can be caused by either lateral or vertical forces, which can be either tensional. These forces are created because of tensional or compressional forces. When the faulting is created because of the tensional force, we call it normal fault. When the faulting is created because of compressional force, we call it reverse fault. Here the picture, the reverse and normal fault. This is the force moving to the opposite direction, one to the left, the other to the right. Because of these two opposite movements, there is a crack created here. So what you call this crack? Normal fault. When it comes to reverse fault, the fault is created because of the compressional force, the force moving towards each other. Because of this compressional force, one move upwards, the other downwards, and make a crack or fault. This crack, what you call it, reverse fault. Rift valleys are created because of this internal force, especially because of the faulting. These rift valleys are formed when the land between the two faults sink down, then a rift valley is created. There is a large rift valley in the world, what you call it the Great East African Rift Valley, including the Ethiopian Rift Valley. It extends from Eritrea to Mozambique, passing through Red Sea, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Democratic Republic Congo, Rwanda, and Burundi are the major countries touched by this Great East African Rift Valley. The total length of the East African Rift Valley 7,200 kilometers, out of which 5,600 stays in Africa. As I told you earlier, the Ethiopian Rift Valley is one part of the East African Rift Valley. It extends from northeast to southwest. There are different features or characteristics occur in the Ethiopian Rift Valley, like hot springs, active volcanoes, and fumaroles are some features or characteristics of the Ethiopian Rift Valleys. Here is the map that show the different countries touched by the Great East African Rift Valley, like Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Democratic Republic Congo are the major countries that touched by the Great East African Rift Valleys. Block or horst mountains are also the result of internal forces, which is created by faulting, but the formation process of Rift Valley and block or horst mountains are different. As we have seen in the above, A rift valley is created when the land between the two faults sink down, whereas block or horse mountains are formed when the land between the two faults push upwards because of the force inside the crust of the earth. There are different block or horse mountains in the different parts of the world. For instance, the Sierra Nevada block or horse mountain found in North America, the Haraz mountain or the Haraz block mountain found in Germany, the Afar block or horse mountain found in Ethiopia. These are the block or horse mountains examples. Students, now it's time to perform some activities based on the above lesson. The first question says, what are the landforms formed by folding and faulting? The second question says, state the types of fold mountains and list 2 examples from each types of fold mountains. Students, are you ready to perform this activity? Then go ahead. I will come back soon. Welcome back, students. Did you manage to name the landforms formed by folding and faulting and state the types of fold mountains in addition with their examples? Well done. Let's check your answer together. Answer for the first question, the landforms formed by folding are fold mountains. The land formed by folding are Rift Valley and block or horse mountains. But based on the above lesson, the formation process of Rift Valley and block or horse mountains are different. Rift valleys are created when the land between the two faults sink down, whereas the block or horse mountains are formed when the land between the two faults push upwards because of the force inside the crust of the earth. Let's move to the second answer. There are 2 types of fold mountains, the old fold mountains and the young fold mountains. Examples of the old fold mountains are Cape Range and Urals are examples of the old fold mountains. Examples of the young fold mountains are Atlas and Himalayas are the young fold mountains. Students, were all your answers correct? Good job. This is all about for today. We have seen the 2 major internal forces, folding and faulting. In addition, the landforms formed by these internal forces. For next program, we will discuss the other internal forces, volcanism and earthquake, in addition with their effects. Until then, goodbye students, goodbye.